Hiya, I'm Amy from Simply Needlecraft, and today's tutorial is how to make a cushion with pockets in. So the one I'm going to show you to make today is slightly different, but I'm going to show you the different ways to make it anyway. So this one has got 2 pockets in using bias. I'm going to show you different ways, and you can make them bigger and to whatever size you want. So if I put that to one side. So this one I'm making here today, just check the measurements on it. I think it's 11 inches by 11 inches. So that's my front and back. So I've got 2 squares the same size. And then for the pocket, I've done 11 inches by about 6 inches on that one. But again, you can make it bigger or smaller. Just bear in mind that you will have a seam allowance, so your pocket will turn out a little bit smaller anyway. So we're going to work on the pocket first. Now I've used bias binding to edge my raw edge. If you didn't want to use bias, you could just roll it and hem it like that and sew. So that would be your top of your pocket. But I'm going to use bias and show you how I put it on. So we're going to open up the bias binding. This is an inch wide bias. And we're going to open it up and pin the raw edge to the top raw edge of the pocket on the reverse of the fabric. So you can see the front of the fabric's there, and I'm pinning it onto the reverse. So now we're going to sew a straight line. If I can get that pin in, there we go. Just across there. Take that off now and trim your threads. I know where my scissors are. Thank you. Right, so we can cut that off. What's going on there? Pass me the bluntest scissors. Right, so we then can fold the bias over to the front. Now if you wanted to iron this, you could do, just make it slightly easier. That's it. So now we're going to sew a line along the bias. So if you can get your stitches over to this end, it stops this curling up, because that will curl up after a bit of time. So we want, again, you can use a decorative stitch on this bit, but just for quickness of the video, I'm just going to go straight stitch. So that is your pocket. So just trim the bias off, that's it. Right, so the way I've created 2 pockets on this one, I'm not going to do it on this one, but I can show you how to do it. So you're going to take one piece, the front panel, and you place your pocket on there. So if you want the pocket there, so this is more for pens and remote controls. If you want a bigger pocket for a book, which this one's going to be, you're just going to sew a straight line from there down to there, making sure you reverse there, because that's where the pressure is going to be when you're putting things into the pocket. So you could have as many pockets as you want, so that's then attaching it to your front panel. But this one we're going to keep as a whole pocket because it's quite a small cushion. So once you've got that in place, you're going to take your back fabric and place it over the top and pin. So you're matching all your 3 layers up like so. Right, we're going to sew around the whole of this, but you need to leave a gap. I'm going to leave mine in the top there. It's always better to leave it in the top rather than at the bottom where the pocket is. It's quite hard to sew up, and again at the side. So if you leave it at the top, that's going to be your easiest option. So we're going to sew around this. Stop a little way off, put your needle down and then pick your foot up, because then that means you're not going to get a hole in the corner. So with your corners, you're just going to trim them off diagonally. Don't have to use pinking shears for this, you could use straight scissors. Postman's just turned up. Right, so you've trimmed all your corners off to a diagonal. You can then turn your pillow around, and it's time to stuff it. But you can use, if you wanted to do a normal envelope cushion using a normal cushion pad, you could do the same. But because I'm doing smaller cushions, I stuff them. This is the hardest bit, turning it all around, getting the corners in it. Right, so that is your cushion. So I'm just using Wedding stuffing. This takes a bit of time. Let's keep stuffing. You're supposed to laugh at me. Right. Make sure you get it quite even as well. It's a bit more at the top. It's like we should have some music playing in the background at this point or something, like in a waiting room. Right. Yeah, it still needs a bit more. Right, so to close this gap, we're going to do what's called a ladder stitch. So it's basically invisible stitching. So if you pull your gap closed, make sure your raw edge is inside. Do pin it because it makes it a little bit easier when you're sewing. Let's pop another pin in there. Right, so pick the thread. It's got a knot in the end. Let's just put a knot in the end. Right, so we want to hide this knot inside. Start from that way. So the easiest way to do that is put your needle inside the gap, go a few stitches long, and that knot has then disappeared inside. Right, so now what we're aiming to do is work on each side at a time. So we're going to run the needle down one side, down one edge of the fold, like so. Then you're going to do it across the other side through the fold. And you're going to keep doing that. Now you might see your stitches a little bit as you're doing it, but once you pull your stitches, you can see, let me do a few more and then you'll be able to see it better. Now you do need to make these stitches quite small. I'm doing it a little bit bigger just so I can show you roughly how to do it on the video, but normally I would be doing my stitches a lot smaller, because that makes it even more of an invisible stitch. Just going to move that pin out of the way because it's getting in my way. So just going through one side of the fold and then through the other side. So if you can see there, it's disappearing when you pull it. Can you see that? Yeah? Somebody outside. Stuff that in. Hold that edge in. So you want to make sure that your needle's not going through the raw end where your fabric's kind of fraying, because otherwise it won't hold. Right, we're nearly at the edge. So these are really quick to make, and like I say, you can do it in any size as long as you've got 2 squares of fabric the same size. You can do whatever size you want. Finish that. Trim that. Give it a bit of a ruffle up. Right, so you've got, let's pull that corner out. You've got a cushion there with 2 pockets in, and then a cushion there with the 1 pocket. So that's more of a book size, where that size is more pens and remotes and other bits and bobs. Right, so it's as easy as that. I think that's probably took about 15 minutes to make. Yeah, so it's a really quick project.